So yeah, the last thing that happened is you heard a loud and a crash as this fellow here just got thumped by the dwarf standing directly in front of him. The barkeep grabs a bat from underneath, slams it down on the counter really hard. We'll have none of that in here! Alright, that didn't seem to deter him as the dwarf then leaps on the individual and they are rolling around on the floor, both trying to get the upper hand and see what's going on. The rest of the tavern, everybody else is pretty much just standing there watching what occurs. You guys.
They're the place to put a bet on this fight, yes.
I think this might be an opportunity to establish a reputation.
Oh, like we
asserting dominance over both of them?
Do you think you could go take them apart, Tolgar? Not them individually apart, but just
good save there, yes.
Separate the two from each other, maybe.
That could have ended very poorly for
Stand
them.
in between them.
How does this help us?
Well, if you can stop a couple fights here and there, they might actually trust us around here. If they trust us, they won't call the guards whenever something happens.
Yes, astute.
Yes, we already have a good relationship with the guards, now with the people, right?
Alright, so they've managed to come to their feet. The dwarf has grabbed the guy by the scruff of the shirt and pulled him to his feet. He grabs him on the back of the head. The guy swipes at him. The dwarf ducks underneath, and then a loud "oh!" as the dwarf strikes him hard in the stomach.
I'm gonna, just slowly stomp over.
Alright, everybody else starts to kind of
Back straight.
shift themselves away from the scuffle or spin around in their chairs to watch it. The barkeep is already coming round this side of the bar with his big bat in his hand, heading directly towards the two as they roll around on the floor and beat the living bejesus out of each other.
Thelonious, 5 gold that Tolgar will win. Take the bet.
No, wait, you mean, for me, I get to put 5 gold on Tolgar, yes?
No, I put the gold on Tolgar.
No, I put the gold on Tolgar, that's what you just said.
I do, no.
I'll do a 5-to-1 bet.
Alright, Tolgar, are you wanting to get involved at this point, or you want to wait and see what happens? What's your deal?
I'm going to get involved. What are they what position of fighting are they in right now?
Okay, well, the last thing that happened, the dwarf punched the guy in the stomach, he went down on the ground, and then the dwarf basically atomic dropped him with his elbow, and they're now both laying on the ground again. It's clear that the dwarf is easily winning this fight.
Okay, I am going to attempt, while the dwarf is on top of him, to just pick him up and kind of do this bear hold.
So you're going to grapple the dwarf, in other words?
Stop it! Yes.
Alright, if that's what you want to do,
It is
you
what I
can
would
do so.
love to do.
Alright, so it's going to be a grapple versus said dwarfy fellow.
Okay.
What did I think I just closed out the sheet that I was trying to get. 15 for Tolgar.
Ooh. That's not great.
Dwarves are strong.
And he's been drinking, so he's extra strong.
Yeah.
Okay, 13. He is wriggling pretty hard, and as he's like, "Get off me!" as he's starting to stretch his shoulders to try to make it to where your arms are having to really extend, and then he's grabbing hold of Tolgar's fingers and trying as best he can to prise him apart. But yeah, at this point in time, Tolgar definitely has him in a pretty solid grip.
And I'm just gonna turn and look at my party and go, okay. Trying to figure out what
the
to do
guy
next.
on the ground kind of takes several steps back. You see him reach up and touch his lip and look at the blood that's on his fingertips now. With that, the innkeeper is going to kind of move over to where you are. And for some reason, it's being laggy. There we go. And holding the bat, he first points it at the dwarf, and then he kind of raises it and points it a little higher so that it's aiming at Tolgar. He looks at you and says, "We won't tolerate that sort of behavior in here. If you want to beat the fool out of each other, you take it outside." He said, "Or we shall fetch the guard, and you'll find out real quick we have no tolerance for that sort of activity."
Should I take him outside? Is that what I should do?
He says, "Do what you want to do. If you break any of my furniture, you're paying for all of it." But the other guy is... You notice that this dude, he's on his feet. He takes a few steps this way, turns, yells as loud as he can, and I'll say it again! You bald-headed, short-assed lightweight! And then he runs as fast as he can towards the back door, and flies out of it. As he does so, the dwarf is enraged. He's like, "Aah!" And he grabs hold, and he is now on his turn going to instigate a grapple
I think I would
back.
shrug and let him go if the guy ran out.
Yeah,
if the guy ran out, because that meant they're going to take you outside.
All right.
At that point, you're going to hear in the background Emlyn say, "Yeah, let him go. Take it outside.
Right, I'm going to
Do
Okay.
it."
pat him on the head as he runs
You
away.
let him go. He spins around, and for a moment, he you see him stop and look, but he
Good
kind
luck.
of glaring up at you, and you see him look at his left hand as he balls it into a fist. And it looks like for at least half a second, he's seriously considering whether or not he should slug you. But then he's like, "Ugh," and then
Give him
turns
that look.
around
Yeah.
and runs for the door.
We should find that dwarf later.
Right, and before you know it, the guy is out the door and hightailing it after that fellow. With that, the innkeeper walks over to you and he says, "Do you happen to know them? Or at least that dwarf?"
I've never seen that dwarf in my life.
"I've only seen him in here once or twice. Normally he's quite quiet. But he seems to be in a bad mood this evening. No idea
He doesn't
why."
live here.
No.
What's he doing in these parts?
Dunno. Traveling through. You don't live here either, do you? Unless you've just moved to town?
Just passing through as well.
Oh, well, I appreciate you stopping any of my furniture getting bust. Peyton Melbury, owner and proprietor here at the Pig and Whistle. I hope you find it to your liking. We got warm and
alright.
soft mattresses upstairs if you're staying the night. Excuse me, I've got to get back to my punters.
Solgar Wolfspine. See you later, I guess.
As you say that, as he's turned around and walked up, you just see him kind of raise his hand. He doesn't turn around, but he's raised his hand in acknowledgement.
Okay. I will walk back to my party. Sit down. Probably.
All right. Well, it's about now that the waitress comes over and delivers all the delicious food that you guys had ordered.
It's quite a bit.
I'm surprised you didn't kill anyone, Togar. Good job.
I wasn't told to do that. Also, I wanted to see if that dwarf could really kill that other guy.
And?
I'm not sure, they ran out. He doesn't live here, the dwarf. Also, the bartender said he's not usually like that. That's a thing that's different. Aren't we looking for different things?
Yes, Tolgar. Yes, we are.
All
I
right.
found one.
It's a good observation.
I'm just gonna start eating.
All right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna give everyone a look like.
I kind of want to just let them fight.
They're probably missing the show outside. I imagine that dwarf caught up to him. Little feet, but little legs, but they're quick. No?
All right. So, who ordered what? You had some of you had the roast pheasant, I believe.
Yep.
Was it Thelonious that just had bread and cheese?
Cheese and wine, thank you.
That's right, and he ordered some of the wine as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. As pretentious as I could be.
Of course. All right, and then of course you also had a round of Schweinenhefen Ale. As I said, it's pretty stout stuff. It's about 8.5 to 9% by volume. It's got a very warm, mellow flavor, and it's made from what it feels like is probably barley. It's probably closer to a barley wine, to be honest, than it is an ale. But if it was a German beer, it would be like a triple buck. But it's a very strong ale. It has a weird undertone, though. There's something in it that's not typically in most ales or beers that you guys have ever tasted.
It's not.
Uh-oh.
Can we tell what it is, or just that something's off?
Well, I
roll to be a beer hipster.
I would say that would come under an insight check if anybody cares enough to actually want to sit there
Not
going.
time.
Yep.
All right. If you wish to make an insight check.
Yep. There it is, everyone. There it is.
All right.
was
Yeah.
it.
Lilith
It was
Edenwood
good.
knows that it's alcohol. Emlyn, he recognizes it as beer. But Satchmo, finally you recognize it. It's bacon. They actually
Swine.
brew it with bacon.
I have a hard time.
Swine and Heffen at the Pig
Well,
and Whistle. Swine and Heffen, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a Heffenweiss beer, but it is definitely brewed. Shammy Ren, thanks for the resub, buddy. 43 months of love.
Hey,
Hands up
Shammy.
and hit that
Thank you,
high.
buddy.
Thank you, Shammy.
But yeah, it's got a slight undertone of bacon. And it really isn't that bad, to be honest. It's quite surprising. All right. So as you tuck into all your delicious food and beverages, what else do you guys want to do? Time-wise, it's now late evening. The tavern, a few people have kind of left. The door opens, and in puffing and panting comes the dwarf.
Should we offer him a drink?
As he walks across the table, across the bar between the tables, you can hear him muttering under his breath.
I'm pretty sure you just killed that guy.
Ah,
There's no
yes.
blood.
Dwarf!
Blood.
Dwarf!
All right. He spins around and looks, and he sort of grimaces and sort of frowns at you, and then he says,
Get him?
"Let me get a drink first, and then we'll fight."
We want to buy you a drink.
20 pieces on Dolgar there.
All right. When you say you want to buy him a drink, he kind of wanders back over and looks, and he says, Well, if I'm about to bust your chops, I don't have a problem taking an ale from you."
I don't plan on fighting you, if that's
Oh, well.
what you're thinking.
I assumed, under the circumstances, the way you dived in to save your friend.
That was
Friend,
not
no,
my
we were
friend.
actually helping you caught up to him and shut him
Oh,
a little
well,
bit
he
of
looks
dwarven
like
mercy.
a yellow-bellied bastard. No wonder. Aye, because I just assumed that you stepped in to save his hide.
Well, he just didn't want you to have to pay for some furniture.
Well, to be honest, if I break a table or two, he can ask me to pay, but, doesn't mean I will.
That's dishonest.
He kind of looks and he says, "Well, not really, the way I see it. If the gentleman is going to allow people to get drunk in his establishment, this sort of thing is bound to happen. You'd never find a good dwarven bar have a problem with breakages. He should just charge more for his produce and for his bevies and brews." Right, well, if you're
That's
buying
pretty
and
good.
you're gonna buy me a drink, then where is it?
I'm assuming you've had the swine oven.
Ah, nasty stuff.
Don't quite like the bacon.
Is that what it is? Bacon? Who the hell puts bacon in beer? No, I don't care for the stuff at all.
Right.
Well, why don't you tell us what you do like, and that's what we'll buy you.
Absolutely anything else.
After seeing what you did to the last guy to make a joke in that direction, I'm not going to suggest a stout. Tell you what, I'll get you a bottle of brandy.
A bottle?
The bottle. Sit down.
Well, I can't stay too long. I've got friends to keep company, but give me a second to let them know what I'm up to, and I'll be right back.
Right, and then I'm gonna watch.
Alright. You see him go, and he leans into this woman who all you can see is her back. He kind of puts his hands on her shoulder, and pulls himself up a little bit, which kind of actually pulls her shoulder down, so that her ear is close enough for him to whisper into, which he does. And then give me a... those of you that are actively watching the dwarf can give me a perception check. Visual perception check.
I'm not paying attention.
I am. Always paying attention.
Yay!
So close. It was on a 19 for so long, and then it wasn't.
Alrighty. Okay, Satchmo, you... so Kyla just catches it. As he turns around to walk back, you see him shoot a very quick sideways glance up at this balcony. At the top of the balcony, you can see what appears to be someone wearing a long brown robe with a hood over it. Their hands are just poised on the edge of the railing, like observing the whole tavern and everything that is going on. And then he continues, without actually stopping or saying anything, continues over to your table. Well, shift up then, lass! Move your arse.
I wouldn't be this big if it wasn't for the bow, dang it.
Alright, so the dwarf sits down on your table and says, right, where's this brandy then?
Right, I'm gonna flag down the waitress and order one up.
And order the whole bottle of brandy.
A whole bottle of brandy, yep.
Alright, well, under normal circumstances, brandy is 3 silver. So, she comes over and she says, well, if you want the entire bottle, that'll cost you 2 gold and 6 silver pieces.
Oh,
Right, I'm
here,
gonna go
take
ahead
7 gold.
Okay, she
Gonna
says,
go ahead.
oh, right, well,
Shag
that
it.
covers you for the food and the other beverages.
Sorry.
You do realize you've already paid for those, big fella. You paid for them once already.
Oh,
At that amount, could we get 2 bottles then?
Absolutely. I think we have a second bottle available. Right, and she scurries off. And yeah, she comes back and puts 2 bottles of brandy down on your table. Alright, with that she says,
Excellent.
do you need wee glasses at all? Or are you just gonna swig it from the bottle?
I'm gonna look at the dwarf and wait for his response.
Oh, he's already picked up the bottle, pulled the cork, and is down in a huge, big triple gulp. And he's like, ah, delicious.
Wouldn't want to
Sits
offend
it
our
back
guests,
on the
Ben.
table.
We can pass on the glasses for now, yeah.
He goes, so,
Speak for yourself. I'll have one.
all right, okay. Well, she brings you over a tall, thin glass and sits it down in front of you. So the dwarf looks at you and he says, so, are you in for Soul Harvest then? Is that the reason you're coming through? The Soul Harvest Festival?
what are you sewing?
Well, I'm more of a connoisseur of the beverages that get served than the actual reasoning behind it, but for what I understand, it's a festival where they harvest the winter wheat and then they plant the barley. Hence, it's the sow harvest, but they have a big festival. Have you never been? Oh, great festival. Not tomorrow, but the day after. They have a huge beer tent, a plethora of different ales and beers and wines and other imported stuff from all around Arconis. Fun and festivities. Oh, a great jolly time.
Are there
Just
any
listen a couple of whores to have a booth there.
Well, they have dancing girls on the stage.
Are there any competitions? Strength? Fighting?
Last year they had an archery competition. There was some axe throwing. And they usually have a prize ring where people can get in and let loose and cut out some of their aggression in a nice, safe, and wholesome way.
And the animal sacrificing?
Not deliberately.
Ah.
I do believe someone fell off the stage and crushed a small dog last year, but it was less of a sacrifice and more of a drunken accident.
Is there anything in this town besides this festival that someone would want to visit and see? Like a
Well,
I don't know, something special.
I mean, there's Asbagane's Brewery. Obviously, in a town like this, with the type of church that this place has, you can pretty much guess the theme of Huddington on the Mere. It's not just a fishing town, it's a drinking town, by gosh. This is, as they say, praise to the brew and the goddess, for long ears, golden fields, and strong fermentation.
The goddess.
Aye, the goddess Winter. It's the goddess that everybody worships predominantly around here. You're not familiar then?
Well, they're not from around.
Well,
No.
that's quite curious. But you do know of the festival. Or is that not why you come? I suppose it's not, considering the questions you asked.
We have a friend who's here for the festival, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're meeting your friend here. Well, if he's told you anything about it, dare say he hadn't been lying. It's a great, fun-filled and enjoyable couple of days.
Right.
What's the peak of the festival? Is there a grand event?
Not really. I suppose the grand event is when everybody's drunk.
A whole town drunk will distract from other things.
So, is the church the oldest building in this town?
Probably the oldest original building, aye. I mean, honestly, I don't know. But most of the buildings around Hunnington on the Mere look pretty solid and well-to-do, and I know the church is a bit run down. But it's a nice place to visit. It's not your normal kind of stuffy and boring and quiet, quaint sort of place. It's a jolly, merry sort of environment. Not your usual sort of establishment for getting your prayers on. No, the goddess Winter is about autumn, harvest, the west wind, and of course, brewing.
Sounds like a fun goddess.
Well,
I'm kind of jealous.
You should switch.
I'm gonna give Togar this look. Oh, you're saying it's a Lilith?
Yeah.
well, I hope
Still
you don't think
female.
I'm being rude, but I do need to get back to my friends.
Of course. Who was that?
This bottle was mine, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, and with
That-
that, he
that was
picks
the
it
one.
up with a big grin.
And if you don't mind my asking, who was that up in the on the balcony there? Seem to know them.
He says, oh, just a friend. Pay them no mind. They're just antisocial, that's all. Can you believe they don't drink? Tolgar asks if he got away, and he says, lass, his legs are longer than mine, and he's a good bit younger. And he had a hell of a head start thanks to you bastard. As he says that kind of jovially towards Tolgar.
Excuses. Why were you chasing him anyway?
He goes, let's just say he couldn't hold his liquor, and that led to him not being able to hold his tongue. And then he starts to wander back across the bar.
Okay.
The second he's kind of out of earshot, I'm just going to lean in and be like, so we have the guards to talk to get our payment for helping them. And I think we should check out that church. Not for the brews, although that could appease some of you, but maybe there's something hidden there that's old that our friend might have wanted.
Well, do you think he's still here? Do you think he's here for the festival?
That's the thing. I can't call it a trend, but it is a suspicion. If he was in the previous town, which depends completely on its mining in order to basically sustain itself, and he's out causing chaos in that domain of it, I wouldn't find it too bizarre had he done something to the alcohol industry, as it were. Or the fishing. It could have been the fishing, but for some reason I suspect that the old church is more likely the target.
So we're in agreement. That's good.
Yes.
I didn't want to have to try convincing you guys, but now I don't have to. Thank you, Kyla.
Can we stay?
Stay here for... You have a tribe to get back to.
For the festival.
Oh, right. I don't think that really comes down to an if we're going to stay or not, as much as if we're still here while it's happening. And if it is happening while we're here, we might be able to turn a quick buck.
I'd like to fight.
Right.
Meanwhile, the trail grows cold. We need to find out what we are here for. Quickly.
Right. The real problem here is this town is also a port. So he could have gotten on a boat and gone anywhere in the world.
Don't like boats.
Yeah, but maybe they have some sort of a manifest. If we could possibly maybe learn of the name he was using, like the last time.
Well, the port is... It's more of a dock because it sits on a massive lake. Harrington on the Mere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, absolutely, he could have gotten on a boat. But, I mean, it's a hell of a long way down the river to get to the ocean from here, that's for sure.
Yeah, also, I'm with Lilith here on about boats. I don't really like them.
Why not? They're great means of transportation.
Last boat we were on kind of sunk.
Well, what do you mean? Sank because it was shoddily made, perhaps, or hit a bit of turbulence
I
in the
don't
waters?
think it matters why it sank. The fact is it sank, and we were almost eaten by cannibals and sharks and...
Don't forget the bear on the boat.
the reason we almost died to the sharks was because of the bear on the boat.
How did you get a bear on a boat?
It sounds like you're
don't ask.
making it up.
The island was carnivorous.
Right. Okay.
And it sounds like quite the adventure. I'm glad I was not on this.
Well, so then for your sakes, I hope he didn't take a boat. But I am here to catch the bastard. And if he did, I don't know, cross the lake to the other side or something along those lines by the boat, then we might have to take one. I know you all don't have an aversion to just taking one.
Is there anything in your little wiggling book that makes life on a boat easier?
Wiggling what?
You mean wiggling?
Your book, your abilities.
Wiggling book.
You
Spell
mean your
books are
book?
now wiggle books.
Emily?
Not my book. As I've established, my book is all about destruction and corruption and entropy, not trophies. I'm talking about Thelonious. Whenever I talk, it's about Thelonious and his book. So I need to get there. That
Wiggles?
I do have perhaps a couple of things that may aid us if we are on a long voyage on the sea. I also have a couple of spells where I could turn myself more or less into a fish, an aquatic-bearing animal who could definitely swim and jump and perhaps even do a flip. Oh, it could be, yes. Maybe not so much a shark, just more. I would sprout gills and I could navigate the waters as if I was a fish or
But not a
sable
bear.
mermaid. No. Bears do not belong in the water, my dear.
Liv could turn into a shark too.
Anyway, moving on.
Which is to say, there are multiple ways he could have left the town. Is what I was trying to get at, and it makes it a little more difficult to track him because there are different ways of him to escape. If I were trying to lose someone, say, on my own trail, then I might make my trail one with many forks.
Right, but this whether he was under his guise or not, he'd be possibly memorable, especially with the company he keeps. And I'm going to look at Lilith, right? I mean,
Never made a trail of forks.
Trail.
right? No.
Sure, I guess you could say she's memorable.
I mean, she wouldn't. Well, no, you disguise yourself quite well. I take it back. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I guess
you
what I'm
you were
trying
bold
to get
too.
at, yeah.
Well, it's nice to hear you admit it.
I never denied it. I just was hoping that she would stand out in the crowd and we could just get information easier that way. But
I don't doubt that someone in the town would be aware of the person we're looking for. Whether or not we're going to find a person while they're in the middle of recollecting it or not. And whether or not we're going to find that person at all with the amount of people here is more of the question.
Well, yes, Kyla, that is the problem, because this town with this festival is going to be full of a bunch of strangers from all over. So how do you get the information that you need from people who weren't here most of the time in the past few months?
Right.
Just the locals?
You go to the people who you know were here.
Well, at this point, though, the younger bar wench has come back over. She says, "Oh, 'tis a busy night. Do you need anything else?"
Might need a room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Stay.
words to the wise. If you're planning on staying here at the inn, you might want to go ahead. I do believe we're almost out. And I'd get in before anybody else if I were you.
Yes. Yes, please. Yes.
She says, "Right, well, go and let the good proprietor know I don't handle the rooms, only the food, but Peyton will take care of your room order."
Thank you. 5 rooms, right?
Yes.
If they're almost out, I don't know if they have 5.
I'm going to nudge Kyla as I say that. Oh.
I have a question for you.
You're trying to push me away, or?
I'm trying to nudge you to go. Like, 5 rooms. Because you're in my way.
I'm just gonna scoot down the bench a little bit to make you more room.
Go get the 5 rooms, Kyla.
Again, I highly doubt they have 5.
Well, ask.
Can't you and the big one share? I mean, what, you take up about a Foot Locker space? I'm just gonna start walking.
We'll ask for 5, and if they don't have 5, then yes, they can share.
Right.
Can't you guys detect magic around you?
Yes, and so what?
I was thinking during the festival, if there's a bunch of people in a small space, we can detect magic, and if someone lights up.
Okay, so Kyla,
Absolutely.
you're up at the
Just
bar.
because a Radiate magic?
Be the guy.
Alright, Kyla, you're at the bar.
I'm just going to kind of get his attention. He seems to be standing right in front of me, though, so that shouldn't be too hard, right?
Yep, he just pours a drink and then slides it down the bar and looks at you and he says, what can I get you, lass?
I was just wondering how many rooms you have available.
He kind of leans and looks underneath the bar.
Here
You
comes
see
the
him kind
default.
of counting, and it looks like he's counting the keys. He goes,
Ooh.
well, I'm afraid there's only one room left available.
Hello.
If you want it, I'd grab it while you can. Festival
Very much
being
so,
what it is.
Very much, yeah. We'll take it for, say, 3 days.
Aye, no problem.
How much is that gonna run?
Well, unfortunately, it's only one of my better rooms. It runs, during festival time, a little bit more expensive than normal, unfortunately, but, as you can tell, supply and demand. But yes, it's 1 gold and 5 silver a night.
Nice.
Of course, if somebody, the festival is not tomorrow but the next day, so after that there'll be plenty of room. So if you'd like to downgrade for the 3rd night, you're more than welcome to.
Right, then I'll just pay for the 2 nights then.
Just the 2
Wow.
nights. Alright,
yeah,
that's 3
and,
gold then.
Since it ought to clear up, and I'm just gonna put it up there for him
Alright.
to take because
He hands you the key.
freaking Khan not gonna bother.
Right, he says,
He's making an honest living.
all the way to the top floor, down the corridor, last door on the left. That's your room.
With all the patronage we're giving you, this better be a nice room then.
It's one of our best. Fortunately,
I hope
it
so.
does have 2 beds.
That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna need them. I bet. Also, while I was up there, I would have wanted to take a glance at the woman, see if I could discern anything about her.
What
She was
woman?
there.
Oh, her?
Yeah.
Um,
Dwarf's friend.
Okay, so basically, that particular lady, she is, she's got like her hair is light brown and she's got it pulled down into a ponytail that kind of tucks into the back of her shirt. She's got like a greenish leather tunic on. She's probably equally endowed in certain departments as Lilith. And she's a good deal shorter. She's probably only about 5 foot tall. Not sure how Lilith is, but I think she's a bit taller than that.
Okay.
If you were paying particular attention, she has. You noticed that she had a dagger tucked into her belt on one side, and what looks like some kind of curved bladed sword on her right hip.
Okay. I'm gonna get back and say, like, well, they had exactly 1 room left.
Mine.
No, I paid for it.
Well, let us go up there and see what accommodations await us.
Here, there's 2 beds.
Beg your pardon.
What?
Well, it's 1 room, and I mean, there's 2 ladies.
And 2
Yes,
beds. I'm sure
and
we'd
an-
both fit into one.
And an
I'm
old
just gonna
man.
I do think old people trumps the gender.
Yes, I
Do
do
you?
believe you are correct. Yes. Absolutely.
And
respect.
I'm an exotic creature. I require
Emlyn
comfort.
respects his elders. I love it.
You need to
I think-
respect your elders.
Strength
you're
and domination
closer.
trumps everything.
So you said there were 2
What
beds,
thing's
right?
wrong with you?
2 beds, yes. And I'm sure Tolgar could go find a sheep somewhere. That would count, wouldn't it?
I have to protect my assets, and sleeping in a nice bed.
All right. So the ladies will get 1 bed, and well, I would say that the old man would another, but I think Tolgar would take you up on that. He pushed me off the bed once.
I will be taking the bed.
Yep. And you can guarantee that if Tolgar is taking a bed, no one is sleeping in that bed with him.
just gonna stare very hardly at Thelonious.
Well, that is all right. I do believe I have other means of making myself quite at home. Not needing a bed or even a room for that matter.
May I join you in whatever this mean is? Please.
Well, I
Humans
don't
only.
know.
No horns allowed.
That's
No
racist.
horns allowed. Yes, I guess if there's no other way, I could perhaps let you in to the boys' club.
The boys' club.
He would call it that.
The boys' club. I like it.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So you guys are all heading upstairs.
Yep.
All right. So those of you that go up to the room, it does indeed have 2 beds, one on each side. It is an incredibly nice room. The beds are actually surprisingly big. Truth be told, someone probably could sleep next to Tolgar if he laid on his side and didn't sprawl everywhere. But there's definitely enough room for both Lilith and Kyla in one of the beds. Tolgar clearly is going to assume the other, as the other 2 are not there anyway. But it is definitely a nice room. The sheets are clean, the beds are comfortable, and it has a nice view from the top floor, where you can pretty much... Way to go, roll 20. You kind of get a view out across the open green where the little pond and all that stuff is. So you guys can, it has a pleasant view. All right. So Tolgar and the ladies are taken care of. What game plan do you have, Thelonious, for?
So I'm gonna walk to wherever. How big are the rooms? I don't think you said.
How big?
Yes.
Probably the room that they have.
Yes.
Is a decent sized room and is probably about 20 by 15 or so. With 2 beds.
Do it. Whatever you're thinking.
I'm following the old man, just like brow quirks.
So I'm going to
waiting
go
for-
ahead and move those that are upstairs out of here. Get to bed. Go on.
Okay. I'm going to look over and kind of look over my shoulder and wait till they go upstairs.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to lean across the table and look over at Emmeline.
What would you say if I said we didn't need a room to sleep in?
This is like the boat thing. We're not turning us into like an ant or something.
What about the
What?
boat times?
No. An ad, please. I'm
Well,
there has been a way I have been getting by without having to fork over any gold for some trendy room. It's unnecessary. Would you like to see?
I would love to see.
Splendid.
Please, follow me outside.
And I'm going to walk outside to a wherever I can find a kind kind of
A window.
That's a window.
Oh, it is. I thought it was a door. I thought I had people.
No,
left
that's a
me.
window.
Oh, the door's over here.
Oh, excuse me. Yep, that's a window. Excuse you.
I'm gonna walk down to the door and go outside and kind
Okay.
of. Is that a pile of wood for their fires? So I imagine it's a pretty high trafficked area then.
Well, if you're going outside,
Yes.
all right, then step out the door by all means.
You
Okay.
die.
So this is kind of like a little bit of a courtyard. You can see the stable building is over here. Piles of hay sit next to that, and yes, here in the corner is wood that they are utilizing for their fire. So I mean, you can see there's a gentleman here who is chopping the wood and taking it in to keep the fire burning. The stable boy that took your horse earlier is sitting on a bench with another young lad right to your left as you come out the door. And this whole area here is kind of really just a staging area for where people get their horses ready and stuff like that.
Okay. I guess I'm kind of looking for a part of this alley or whatever you want to call it that doesn't have anybody by it. that can see, or just like a spot that's out of
I mean, this area here is kind of like butted up to a fence, so this is all like fenced in. Let me move up to the corner.
Yeah.
This area here, there's a fence right above it, and a fence down to the side that kind of adjoins the stable. So that's kind of like a little bit further out the way.
Sure. So kind of you can use it to your discretion. I just want to go to a spot like that where
I have a feeling I know what you're going to do.
Yes. So put me to a spot where I can do that then.
All right. So are you summoning something?
More or less.
Pop it in. Go. Oh, let me remove the dice cover. Go ahead and pop it in chat for us.
I can do that.
I thought so.
Yes.
Tiny
All
hut.
right. So basically, he is creating a dome of force.
Wait, let me.
I wonder if I've got such a thing. Let me see if I can find you a bubble. And I believe they are a 10-foot radius.
There we go. That's the new
I've got
spell.
one.
I popped in the new spell. It's Theo's tiny hut, and it's mine now.
Oh, you're doing Theo's tiny hut.
Yeah,
Theo's
Thelonious'
tiny
tiny
hut.
hut.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's my
Theo's
tiny
tiny
hut.
Okay, you've changed the name of it.
Decorations.
Okay.
Yes, it's mine. It's mine now. It's my hut now.
Has a couple of decorations on the inside.
Yeah.
That one poster that every frat boy has.
Putting me in the bubble from the Prisoner movie, right?
All right,
So
there you
I'm-
go.
Prison Islands.
So I'm gonna cast this as a ritual, and I'm just gonna kind of kneel down and kind of brush my robes out and start. And before I do, I'm going to look up at Emily and say,
Do you know of any songs you could possibly hum in the background? It just helped me concentrate.
Rico Suave.
Songs.
Yes, it's a tune, something that I could just, just lightens the mood and makes me make a happier hut, so to speak. Yes, it is.
Actually,
and I'm going to
you
start
gotta
casting my
make this
ritual hut.
larger. That you said it's a 10-foot radius. So,
Just kind of
Happy
picture your
birthday.
pocket and then Emily opening.
You're not there. Shut up.
And it's not happy birthday in this realm, okay? So
What is in this realm?
a
it's
ritual
a-
focusing him.
all right, there's your
That's
bubble.
what happens when you mess up
Thelonious
the
is
Lost
like in
in
a
Space
trucker's
theme.
jacket.
You just couldn't even say, oh,
Polonius
my.
Hefner.
Oh,
Oh, my.
My,
Can
my.
you go in it?
Miserable bloody moment, no sense of humour.
Well, actually, you can't go in it if that's what he did. But what actually has to
I would have
happen
made
is,
it around us.
yeah, you have to be in it when
Yes.
he
Right,
casts
okay.
it. So you guys would both be in there.
Which I would have been, but I thought you were gonna
Obviously,
make
you
us go
would.
inside.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
you're good. All right, so go ahead and get it. All right, so yeah, so after 10 minutes, suddenly a dome, like a appears all the way around you. Now, from those on the outside looking in, it's kind of like an opaque dome that they can't really see through. For you guys on the inside, however, you can kind of see completely out.
So,
So I'm just gonna keep going about my business because I do this all the time. So it's nothing to me. So I'm just kind of putting my robes, just getting my stuff out, and putting my pack down. And
yeah, so as this is happening, I'm going to experiment by poking my head out, looking up and around, and then,
It's big on the inside.
It is if you dig.
So this is how you travel and survived alone in this dangerous world.
Oh, yes. I don't just run up to monsters and touch them for no reason.
Okay. Well, you can kind of see you're getting some pretty strange looks from the guy that was chopping the wood and now the two boys as they've come over and are like, one of them's going, he goes, go on, touch it. And he's like, "Bwong." He goes, it's solid. It's solid as a rock. Come and have a go. Touch it. And he comes over and he goes, where'd it come from? He goes, them two weird fuckers did it. They were standing there. He said, that one with the pointy hat. He said he was standing there and suddenly he started saying all this weird mumbo-jumbo and drawing these stupid little things on the ground, and then, poof, this big bubble appeared. It looks like a great big cone of ice cream without the cone.
Thelonious.
You hear, get away from there! Get away from there! And you, come on, move! Get back over there on the bench! And then this man, you guys literally can see this guy, he comes and grabs him by the scruff of the neck and pulls him and plops him down on the bench. He says, whatever that is, boys, it's not natural. Don't you go tampering with that. I'm going to let the innkeeper know.
Oh, Thelonious.
Yes, I was trying to cast a spell away from people, but apparently that's not possible, so...
Well, not right here if you're doing it in this courtyard. No.
Well, that's why I tried to stay away from people.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you just needed the space, the room.
No. I was trying to get it away from people seeing me.
Oh, well, then you'll need to go out of town and away somewhere distant.
Well, we're in it now.
I thought I was pretty clear about it, but okay, maybe I'm not. I will be more clear.
Well, no, I mean, if that's your game plan, that's why I said, this area right here is fenced in. The fence joins up with the stable.
And
yeah, screw it. I don't care. We're gonna stay right here. We're staying right here. We're staying here.
Just go and sort it, and give them gold or something.
Oh, yes. If the innkeeper comes in, I will take care of it. It is no problem.
Okay. I'm just gonna wait and watch the door.
Believe me, I've run into this many times before. It's just a minor inconvenience, that is all.
Yes, we're renting the space. We will obviously pay.
Yes. No problem.
Alrighty. Well, about 30 minutes pass. No one's shown up. The guy is back. He's come back, and he's kind of like artificially chopping wood. You see him kind of like he's not really chopping anything. He's going through the motions. But after about 30 minutes, you are aware of a couple of town guards approaching your bubble.
Oh, here we go.
And he's like they couldn't see it.
I'm going to stay in here because horns, appearances.
Right. So they approach it and they start looking at it, and he goes, "Ain't that odd, though?" One of the boys says, "Two strange men did it. They were standing over there by the fence, and then they started doing some strange stuff, and that ball appeared." And he goes, "Did you see where they went?" "No." Not entirely sure what to do about this, to be honest. I'm not either. Don't see stuff like this every day, do you? Because I've never seen anything like it. Do you reckon we can pop it? Worth a shot. And he... no, there ain't no popping it. It's pretty solid, actually. Doesn't look very solid. Dum, 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 dum. It is, though, isn't it? Well, listen, lads. If the two gentlemen that did this come back, let us know. Have someone come and fetch us. Don't really know what to do about it, though, to be honest. It doesn't look like it's hurting anybody. I wouldn't get anywhere near it, though, if I were you, lad. Stay clear. Don't let your curiosity... You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat and all that. Well, we've done a thorough investigation, and it would appear that this is something slightly out of the ordinary, but nothing to worry about. Just, I wouldn't touch it if I were you. We'll investigate further in the morning. Until then, we'll just leave it be, alright? And he goes, "That's what you reckon?" He goes, "Well, don't really know what else to do, to be honest." And then they kind of wander off and leave it there.
Well, you handled that nicely. taking my advice.
By completely just staying in the bubble and refusing to come out or acknowledge anything.
Oh, yes. No, I'm surprised they didn't try a few more times to try to break it with their weapons. It's quite hilarious. They tucker themselves out very quickly.
Well, it's quite comfortable in here.
All right.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, so everybody upstairs, you can get a good night's sleep. You guys will sleep on the grass inside your bubble until the morrow.
Well, as we're getting settled in, I'm going to say you're going to hear from my corner of the bubble, Thelonious.
Yes.
Before you go to sleep, there is something I wanted to give you. It's something I've had in my possession for some time, and well, it's for your eyes. Can you make this lighter so you could see? Like, is that possible?
Oh, absolutely.
And I do 2 claps and light comes on more.
Clap on.
Yes, I have a clapper.
I'm going to look around and be like, most impressive.
So you just got to cast like a light spell or something in here?
Yeah,
Also, it's
I have a light spell
Snuggy.
for.
I think it's actually in the description. You can control the amount of light. inside
I think
the
you
zone.
can.
Yeah.
It is. I'm aware that bubbles don't have corners.
You can also choose what color you want your bubble too. You know that?
Yeah, but if I have a light cantrip, so I would.
Yeah,
I
you
would-
can have it dimly lit if you wish, or dark.
So years ago, after the boat crashed, the bears in the boat, and all that craziness you didn't believe, we, Tolgar, Lilith, and myself, were on a rescue mission. Long story short, we were trying to curry favor with someone who ran a thieving operation, kind of like what Kyla is. I assume she is.
Yes, that's good as
And during the strangulations, nakedness, not disemboweled, more torn limb from limb, flushed down the toilet adventure.
Oh, just a dreadful bunch.
Yes. Well, we love it, and you do too. You have to admit. Anyway,
I would never disembowel someone.
we came across a fellow magician, as it were, who tried to stop us, and we stopped him. Honestly, I blew his face off with my awesome spells.
My awesome spells.
In searching his lifeless corpse, I came across this, and I'm going to extract a leather-bound spellbook.
You're gonna see my eyes just light and just focus straight on it.
Yes.
So it is arcane, and it's a wizard spellbook, obviously. At least I assume it is.
Yes.
It doesn't really speak to me like my book does. I've looked at it countless times and only kind of deciphered what some things might be, but nothing's for certain, and I can't really tell. But you have been quite nice to me, which I was really hoping for, because otherwise I would just keep this from you. But with this bubble and you not taking my shit when Tolgar thought I was dead and helping us out, I figured you could look at it and see what it might help you. I'm going to pass it to you.
I
Alrighty.
truly am flattered. Well, I guess maybe I could thumb through it and see if it speaks to me, as you so eloquently put it. Yes, no problem.
Alrighty. So, I mean, it'll take you a little while to kind of peruse it, but if you want
That's fine.
you want to do that this evening, or
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I cannot
All
wait
right.
to dive into this thing.
well, for those that remember
That's a
where it
chili
came
recipe of
from, it wasn't exactly the greatest magic user in the world, but it does
What is
have
it?
several spells in it, and you may have some of them, you may not, but if you want to just any of those that you don't have, technically it's a different spell book, but it is a spell book, so you wouldn't have to pay the materials to copy it into your book, as long as you're willing to lug 2 books around with you. But okay, so if you want to make the notes, it contains the following first level spells: Color Spray, False Life, of course, Magic Missile, has Shield, and Unseen Servant. Second level spells, it has Gust of Wind, Dark Vision, Magic Mouth, Knock, and Ray of Enfeeblement. So any of those that you don't have, you now have.
Cool. All right.
So I know you probably got some of those, but let's be honest, what wizard doesn't have Magic Missile in his spellbook?
Yeah, or shield. Really. So I only have 3 of those though. So.
Oh, that's not bad then. You did pretty good.
Yeah,
and
wow.
these,
Pretty good.
Yeah, because these were several campaigns ago that he got that book. And needless to say, I had to go notes digging to find it. But there's your spellbook right there.
All right, got it.
Okay, cool. Now, of course, spellbooks are big, they are heavy, and they are cumbersome. So you may want to, at the appropriate time, copy them over in your book, and then maybe you can sell this one. Who knows?
Cool.
But there you go. Okay. So with that being done, anyone want to do anything else, or do you want to go to? Can we move on till tomorrow?
I'm done.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, full 8 hours. That thing lasts for 8 hours. So you're still in it come morning. Do you wish to leave it there, or are you gonna dismiss it?
No, I'll dismiss it.
All right. Okay. The bubble is gone. All right, I'm not gonna move everybody all around the tavern, so I'm gonna move you though.
As we do that, I would look over and say, so, how would you rate your stay at Cartha de Thelonious?
Not you.
Pleasant, sufficiently dark, and quiet.
Yes. 5 out of 5 stars, perhaps?
Well, you didn't have any furnishings, but I have slept in worse situations. You know, I've been in a cave for the past 2 years, so who am I to complain?
That's a 4.5 out of 5. Then, thank you. I'll jot it down. I'll jot it down in a little notebook I have.
I'm waiting for Thelonious to actually have his own custom tiny hut by the end of this.
Well, shall we meet our friends inside?
Yes, let's go inside, have ourselves a little spot of breakfast.
Oh, I forgot. Whenever Kyla, whenever you paid for your room, the innkeeper wanted to know what name to put the room in.
Oh. Yeah, I'd probably put it under DeWint.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Just DeWint?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Then that's what he will write it down as.
So I'm going to go in and sit down.
Okay.
Wait for the others.
Because if there was any outstanding bill, he'd charge me with it later, right?
In theory. Assuming that
counts.
someone was of that name was in here, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so Emlyn goes and sits down in the corner by himself.
I'm just going to sit at this table here.
I too sit here.
You fucking assholes.
Next to you.
Go over there.
My money's on the goat boy. He'd be able to get to here first, so he's
You're the
more likely
goat.
to sit in the other chair.
All right, okay.
Nah, yeah, I'll be joining.
All right, so yeah.
So, first things first, the guards.
Yes, let's head over there after breakfast and get our reward money and maybe find out if any strange happenings has happened. If you hear anything about a strange bubble, just smile and nod.
Bubble?
I'm gonna give a
Real
side
estate
glance
bubble?
at Thelonious next to me.
We had to make our own accommodations. It is nothing unusual or unnatural, just something, a trick I have up my sleeve is all.
Then why are you warning us about it?
Well, people, it's just not normal sightings of people in a town like this. They get hysterical about it, so it's just if anyone breaks it up, just dismiss it as a
Something
trick.
that could cause the townspeople to get hysterical. We're not wanting to stand out that much.
No, not hysterical. It's a turn of phrase. If someone mentions it, just brush it off simply as a trick of the mind. It will not go any farther than that.
I'm just gonna be nodding. Like lean over to Thelonious and nod to Lilith.
Yes.
What he said.
Let's get directions and leave.
Well, we know it's.
Yeah, you passed it on the way into town.
Oh.
But I am proud of you for inviting directions into your repertoire there. I'm just gonna go ahead and.
Okay. So you guys, is that what you want to do? You all want to head down to the militia house?
Yeah, we're gonna have breakfast first.
Yeah. Okay. After
I'm
breakfast.
going to show Kyla the maps that I draw to show that I love directions and mapping things. See, look, it's like a whole map of everywhere I've traveled.
I really like the lake there. Oh, that's blood.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna try
The only color is the red. The red bits. You've got red on you. Okay. So yeah, after breakfast, then I'll go ahead and shift you guys out of here, and on into the town of Hurrendon on the Mere we go. And I noticed that it is way out, so let me zoom it in. Okay. Alright, so from where you are at the tavern, did I move you guys to the map? Yes, I did.
Yep.
Alright, so down the street you travel towards the stone building that is the militia house. Buildings that you're going to pass. Let's see here on my notes. Make sure I've got them all. Alright, yeah. So, as you kind of walk down past the tavern, the first building you see on your left is the brew house itself. Asbergain's Brewery is what it's labeled. You can kind of smell the fermentation in the air as you pass by the door. But continuing on down the street, the next building on the left it says Esme's Eats, which by the sign and what you can see through the window with like a big table loaded down with fresh fruit and vegetables is some kind of provisioners or grocery store or something like that. And then finally you arrive here at the militia house. The entrance is round the other side. So you wander around. The front door is a sturdy, thick wooden oak door with iron bands across it, and a simple metal pull ring to open the door. And guess what? The music has stopped because you're far enough away from the tavern now.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Just remember, we're good folk. Nothing incriminating.
The fact that you have to have that conversation. Just remember.
My name is Tolgar.
Well, yeah.
I am good.
I don't think the wanted posters made it this far, so I think we're okay. But you know,
hobbies include doing good things for nice people.
I've seen some wanted posters around, but it doesn't look like it's for us, girl.
Well, it's been years since we've been on that radar, but
Okay.
anyway, moving in.
All right.
Some street again is taking on my thunder.
Into the militia house we go then. Go ahead and move you along. That was
I am
interesting.
good.
The whole damn map moved. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
It's all good. All right, let's go ahead and move you guys in to the entrance room. Okay, so you wander in and realign yourselves once you're in there. As described, it is a stone building. You enter what looks like a small entry hall. There's 3 large wooden benches, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, and a counter in front of you with a guard sitting in front of it, kind of like leaning, or behind it, leaning with his chin on his chest, on his table, sitting in his chair, and a heavy reinforced door directly behind him. As you walk in, you hear a bell kind of goes ding, 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 more like a clattery tin bell, like a cowbell, than an actual ringing, dinging bell. Good morning.
We're here for the money.
The money.
Yes, we're robbing you.
Great thing
What?
to say in a
Alright, with that, he
so
jumps
good.
up and snatches a sword. And he looks like he's about to dive to this door here.
The money we were promised.
He says, you better explain yourself, and less of the we're here to rob you type jokes.
That was clearly a joke.
He says, well, obviously, it's a militia house, but it's early. I don't really have much of a sense of humor. I haven't had any breakfast yet.
I will not speak for the rest of this. I apologize. I'm just going to take a seat.
But
I would like to have been.
he sits
seated
back
as
down,
a kid.
but he leaves the sword like on the counter, holding onto it with one hand.
Yeah, I can't move my dude.
Good.
I can't move my dude.
Right.
Forces me into roleplay situations I would prefer not to be in.
Marshall promised us money for helping capture a
Marshall.
hooded figure.
Don't know anybody called Marshall, I'm afraid.
Oh,
The
Sergeant Randall.
Randall.
Oh, Sergeant. Oh, yes. Now it all makes sense. You're the individuals that they met on the road that helped capture that scallywag. Very well done. Very well done indeed. Yes. So, you'll be wanting the money now then?
Yes.
Alright, give me just a second. He reaches underneath and pulls out a large, heavy book. Boom! Right, let's just takes an ink and quill. This is okay, and you see him like flicking through pages of the book. He goes, here we are. Valma Falcio. 100
Well,
gold
what?
pieces was is the reward. I was
His name
notified
is
that somebody
Valma?
else might actually be splitting the reward with you, but they apparently have declined the offer. So the money's yours. All you have to do is sign here. Turns around the book and slides it across to you. Sign your name underneath. Oh, hang on a second. Just one sec. Due diligence. I probably ought to make sure that Sergeant Randall recognises all of you, hadn't I? Make sure you are actually the people that you say you are. If you'll wait just 1 minute. And he scuffles on through the door. And a couple of minutes later, he returns with a recognisable face of Sergeant Randall. He says, yes, that's them. I'd recognise them anywhere, especially that big one. Right, yep. No, that's them. They're very instrumental in capturing Falcio. Yes, give them the reward. I'll go fetch it. Just have them fill out the paperwork, and I'll bring you the money in just a minute. Y'all have a good stay last night here in Horrendon on the Mere, did you?
Yes, we heard about the festival.
Oh, yes. Tomorrow, the town will be alive with festivities all down at the fairgrounds.
How do I sign up for the fight?
Couldn't tell you. I don't have anything to do with the general runnings of the fair itself and the festivals, but, I do believe that they do have some pugilism from time to time.
Fisticuffs. Tolgar.
Oh, punch up, right.
Punching people in the face, Tolga.
Okay.
Because, mind you, I dare say that if you step in the ring, you won't get many takers.
It's disappointing.
Well, you never know. You might find somebody from out of town willing to take you on. Ain't nobody around here stupid enough, but, there may be some visitors to Horrendon, much like yourselves, that are stupid. Anyway, if you'll go ahead and sign the paperwork, I'll bring you gold. Do you want it in gold, or would you prefer platinum?
I'm gonna slide across the bench and poke around the corner. Gold will do me fine, thank you.
All right, gold it is. And he goes wandering off.
When he wanders off, I want to turn to Emlyn. say? Do I have permission to kill him?
Wait,
What?
what?
The guard that's sitting in the chair kind of leans over the counter. What's this about
I
killing?
thought he's the one that went away. Dang it.
Oh, one did, but there's still one sitting in the chair. What was that about killing?
You called me stupid.
Ooh,
I do
wait.
not like that.
Forgive my big friend here.
I don't
We
think...
had a scuffle there was a scuffle with the dwarf in the bar last night, and there was threats bandied about, and Tolgar broke it apart, as a good citizen would.
Is he hard of hearing? Are you... No offense, but are you a little hard of hearing there? Would you say his name was Tolgar? Only, I think Sergeant Randall was referring to anybody that would step in the ring with you would be stupid.
Yes, that is exactly what he meant.
But your
And
big friend,
it was
the fella here, thought that he was calling him stupid. I'm pretty sure that Sergeant Randall would never insult a man of your size. It was obviously an accident.
Yes.
And you misunderstood. No, he was clearly saying that anybody that was willing to step in a ring and raise fists against a man of your size would have to be stupid.
I'm gonna relax a little.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
I'm glad we've sorted that out. Yes, and he kind of like relinquishes a little bit of the grip on his sword.
Now you understand why I sometimes resort to bad humor. So I again apologize.
Oh well, I just need everybody's signature here, or at least one of yours. Whoever's going to be receiving the reward money.
I guess I'm gonna stand up, squeeze past Tolgar, and sign my name.
All right.
It's kind of like,
Are
Okay.
you signing your real name if I look at it?
yeah, it's my real name.
Alrighty. Okay, well, it takes a few minutes, but eventually the sergeant comes back out with a small purse of monies. He says, right, here you are. You'll find it's all there. 100 gold pieces, as promised.
I'm gonna take it and pass it back to Thelonious and just say, just split it up, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that, of course.
And then return to Randall and say, with all the people coming from all around, do you ever have any security problems?
Well, we have a very well-formed militia here, obviously during festival time, and being that everybody is here to celebrate the harvest and the sowing of the crop, and being, of course, that the local religion is very forthcoming and favourable towards drinking, it's understandable that people get a little bit out of sorts, and there's always things. Fortunately for us, we have an ample jail. We have a small holding cell that's just through these doors on the left, and then, of course, if you go down into the basement, we've got the proper dungeons.
Good, so we are all perfectly safe while we're enjoying your festivities.
If you're smart and you keep yourself to yourself, I mean, obviously, you know how drunk fellas are. They can get a little handsy, a little violent. But if you're just here for an honest, enjoyable, good time, obviously there'll be a lot of strangers that come through. You'd be ill-advised to carry your coin purses open and to be seen throwing your money around, as such as you've now got quite a large sum there. I wouldn't be seen, waving that sort of sum around. You might find you attract a cut purse or a vagabonds or muggers. I'm sure you can handle yourselves by the looks of most of you, but we don't want the trouble. We don't have to deal with cleaning up messes and arresting people.
Any trouble happen within the past month or month and a half? of a special, strange nature?
Why specifically would you ask such a question?
Well, we came from Bamforth, you see, and they had recent issues with the mine being closed and some strange deaths occurring, and it seems that
Strange deaths, you say?
Yeah, some
Oh,
miners.
hold on a second. Would you mind stepping through? And he opens this door here, and beckons you to follow him through it.
I'm just gonna follow.
All right.
I'm gonna follow him if I can.
Yeah. He's indicating for all of you to kind of come through.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
don't
obviously, if any of you don't wish to, you don't have to.
Nah, but if I stay out, it's suspicious. Damn it. Y'all.
All right.
I'm gonna look uneasily at all the guards.
Okay. And then he opens this door to the
I'm gonna
north.
look easily at them.
He says, "Right, just step into my office here, if you don't mind."
Teleport to the wall.
Why
To
is
the
that
wall.
Are you coming with us, Kyla?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
All right.
Who's on first seat?
Okay, so yeah, basically, there's a small little, pokey little room.
Oh, guard.
I'm gonna hide behind Tolgar, yeah.
So, shut the door behind you, Mister. And he looks directly at Thelonious as he says that, Mister
Thelonious Conch.
Mister Conch. All right, shut the door.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, my manners. I'll shut.
He says, so, and with that, for the second time, you see him pull out his thinking pipe as he starts to. Right. Filthy habit, I know, but it tastes good. Anyway, why specifically were you asking about strange occurrences and how did you put it? Strange deaths?
Yes. See, we not a week ago came to the town of Bamforth and discovered that the mine that was central to the operation had been shut down due to a cave-in. At least that's what they called it.
We heard about that. The mine's been shut for several weeks, apparently.
Well, we offered our expertise as a roving band of good do-gooders, and in investigating the mine, found that the cave-in was actually just a cover, and that 3 of the miners of the town had been killed by some creepy insectoid monster thing, which I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see, but my friends did.
Say that again. Oh, a creepy what did you say?
Well, as I said, I was kind of near death myself, but my friends saw it, and I'm going to look at them.
What did you see, big fella? Or was he just a little bit... He said he was near death, so was he a little,
It was a creepy insect. I'm gonna look at Thelonious.
It seemed like it was some sort of, it was an abomination, a giant insect made seemingly out of metallic material.
Very curious.
Yes, curious indeed.
Did you have any idea where this thing came from? I mean, it was just down there in the mine. Someone put it there, you're saying?
That is what we have been led to believe, yes.
Piggybacking off of what he said,
What?
piggyback. Anyway, moving on. My friends dispatched this abomination.
Oh, so it's dead then.
So the mine is open again.
How long ago was that you dispatched it? Specifically, do you recall?
Like 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
But wasn't that then?
But the mine is now operating again, and In confronting the local authorities, the town burgher, I'm give Thelonious a look.
Oh, yes, Normand.
Yes, he basically said that there had been an individual with a vested interest in the mine before the troubles arose a few months ago, and last he was seen was heading here.
I see.
Hence my concern that if this person was somehow responsible for the abomination, he might do something here, hence my questions.
Well, out of curiosity, did he mention if they told Brannock Trevorrow about all this?
Who?
Brannock Trevorrow. He's the reeve of this area.
The Reeve. I'm unfamiliar with this.
Wreath?
The reeve. Kind of like a local magistrate that travels from town to town sorting out legal problems. He's appointed by the good king himself. He was here only 2 days ago and he's moved on since. I believe he said something about heading down to Mindenbrook.
I think there was some mention of him, but I don't think it was so much that they were telling him as they were afraid to have to.
And anyway, he would have left before my friends here, cleared the mine.
Right, yeah. Well,
so, yes.
I mean, we did have a strange incident that happened a few days ago, but if you say that it was 3 days since you dispatched that weird, what did you call it, mechanical or whatever, it couldn't have been that, because this was 3 days ago, and whatever was in Bamforth couldn't have possibly made it to Hullingdon and back in the same day.
Right, but if the individual responsible for leaving it in the mine was down here, we would very much like to stop him because he is leaving destruction and death in his wake.
Oh, well, I understand. Do you have a description of this man or woman, whatever it was? Was it... No? Don't know what they look like?
And he was traveling with
hat.
Kind of, sort of like this fella.
Old, yes.
It went by the name possibly Octavius?
Crumb.
I
It's an
don't
alias?
think we've got anybody in custody by that name, and I don't recall making any arrests of anybody under that name either. I mean, if he stayed here in town, of course, you would have asked the innkeeper, right? If he rented a room to someone by that name?
We wanted to clear it with you first because
Why?
we didn't want to raise suspicions of going around asking questions that, bring attention that we might not want to bring on ourselves.
Well, I mean, if you're looking for this fella, I mean, you've got every right to inquire about his whereabouts. No crime against that.
Fair enough.
But you think that this Octavius fella could have been responsible for what happened here a few days ago?
If you tell us what happened.
I'd rather not.
How are we supposed to know if it was him?
Well, I think, as I said, what sort of manner of things would you think this individual Octavius be capable of?
Magics. Pulling a rabbit out of a hat for certain.
Destructive things. Terrible things.
The magic is the most, and what Lilith said, yes.
Yeah.
Mostly enchantments, from my understanding.
Well, listen.
It wasn't an enchantment that burned my house down.
We did have an incident. We're trying to keep it on the low down because we don't really have a lot of things like this happen around in Orrington. And right here with Festival, the last thing we want is to rile people up and get everybody acting out of sorts, rumour mills running. So, seeing as you did help us with the Faustio issue, I can trust you understand to be discreet if I reveal some information.
I am very discreet.
Well,
And I'm just gonna move slightly and the whole room just goes, "Wah."
So, I don't know if you had a chance to visit, but we have a market, a daily market that runs here in Horrendon. If you go out of here and cross the street and onto the open area to the left, you see it. You probably saw it as you walked in, to be honest. Anyway, it's just a small market, half a dozen or so stalls and whatnot. Only marketing stalls being what they are, someone went bright and early to open up and found a body laying underneath one of the tables. Discarded, but not particularly well hidden. What was strange, however, is his eye had been removed and it was hollow directly behind it. Completely hollow.
You mean no brain?
That's
Or just
about
no
it.
eye?
Yeah, no, the eye was gone. And it
Yes.
looked like someone had literally pulled this poor bastard's brains out through his left eye socket. So as you can understand, not a particularly common sort of crime. The Reeve was here at that time. Did an investigation, asked a bunch of questions, and we could find nothing. No evidence to indicate what it was, so currently it's listed as a unsolved situation.
And
But if you happen to think that this Octavius individual might have been responsible, I'm very interested to know more about him.
was the body? I mean, obviously you took the body somewhere,
Well, of course, it was buried in the graveyard.
and the market was opened later that day, or
Market was open within an hour.
so
I mean,
no
we
crime
dra-
scene
we dragged-
investigation happened.
What sort of
Okay.
investigation do you think these guys do?
Like fingerprinted shit, yeah.
Yeah, no, he goes, no, we
Subliminal.
looked around the area, couldn't find any signs of weapons, no tracks, so we dragged his body out, brought him, had him prepared down at the church. I believe it was Brother Allard that did the last rites for it. And down there at the Church of Righteous Brew. And then there was a ceremony. The poor man's widow and his orphan daughter, of course, were there. Most of the town, you know how it is. Big to-do.
and he was one of the merchants at the stall, or just a visitor, like a buyer.
No, actually, he worked up at the farm.
Which farm?
Oh, well, the main farm. The one that... There's really only one farmer here. He owns everything. But
Well,
if as you come into town, if you said you come from Bamforth,
Yeah, right.
as you come into town, to your left, you'd have seen all the crop fields, and at the very end of that, probably a big farmhouse and some barns and stuff like that.
Anything special about that farmhouse? Or the surrounding land, besides being sustenance for the whole town?
Not really. I mean, obviously, it's where we will be doing the harvest and reaping in all that beautiful golden wheat, and then shortly after, getting all that beautiful barley in the ground. And when to be willing, we'll have yet another fine crop. These last few years, the crops have been outstanding.
And the stall he was found at, what was sold there?
Fish, I think. I think it was a fish stall.
Ew.
I suppose it
Still gotta
was.
say that?
I suppose it would have made sense. It would have at least helped hide
I
the
love
smell.
fish, not
Ew.
with the dead body and the brains pulled out.
And the market doesn't have any exotic wares, right? Mostly fish and clothes and stuff.
It's just rudimentary stuff, fish, fruit and veg. There's an ale counter there if you get thirsty. But nothing grand, no. Just simple folk trying to make a simple living. Those that can't afford a proper establishment But you haven't really told me much about this individual, this Octavius. I think I've been pretty forthcoming in telling you our little problem. What do you know about this man? Why do you think he might be responsible, other than the fact that he did something heinous up at Bamforth?
Well, as my big friend Tolgar said, he's into magic. Kyla mentioned enchantments and the like. I think he's dabbled a little bit in conjuration myself, a little ability to bring things into existence.
I see.
There's a chance he could have enchanted and or brought that thing my friends killed in the mines to being.
And you think he come through Horrendon? Might be responsible for the farm, the farm labourer's death.
Well, sucking out the brain is a little strange to me.
I agree. Even the Reeve said that in his 30 years, behind the cloth, and he'd never seen such a thing. But, yes. But you don't know what this fella looks like. No description at all. So how the hell would you know if you...
doesn't help you much. They can probably alter their appearance.
Oh.
We do know he traveled with a woman.
Oh, well, that narrows it down.
A beautiful lass, as far as I can tell.
A harlot.
I don't know that she's a harlot. She is a bitch, though.
But yes, as Lila said, description wouldn't do us any good, because we suspect he's under a different guise.
Well, then the only way you're likely to catch an individual like that is in the act.
Yes, unfortunately.
The only thing is, we're quite a few steps behind them, so we're on a cold trail.
Unless you've got any ideas of motivations, of course, of why he might be doing what he's doing. But if all he's after is brain... Did he take anybody's brains in Bamforth?
Don't know if you could find any.
Yeah.
Oh, come now. Just because they're simple mining folk doesn't mean they're all stupid.
The better mines we found were all intact.
Yes, they just had a...
The 3 bodies that you mentioned, their brains weren't missing.
No, just spiked through the hearts from the shoulder. But it's imagine a giant stinger.
What if it was the same thing? It just so happens at this time it hit him in the face and in the eye, and when the stinger come out, it pulled out the brain like a...
I believe that was one of its special moves, so to speak.
Or do you not think that that's likely based on what you saw?
I suspect he is going town to town searching for things that can help his magical ability.
Well,
think of it like
around here.
Well, you have the festival that's been going on. This town has been around for a long time. No.
Aye, Horrendon on the Mere has been around for nigh on a century and a half.
And you have no surrounding areas or lands that have mystical or fairy tale like qualities. Things
fairy tales.
You tell the children to stay away from. It's.
There's rumors about the lakes. Obviously, any lake, the Mere itself has various different old wives' tales and fishermen's tales. There's the story of old Willie, but I don't think old Willie is in any way responsible for murdering someone underneath a market stall.
Willie, I don't think so either, but what about Willie?
It's an old. Apparently, it's a giant pike. They say that from time to time he's been known to capsize boats and stuff like that, but obviously it's complete codswallop. I've never seen a pike grow to be more than about 60 pounds myself.
He capsized his boat. Another reason not to get on a boat.
But you know how fishermen can be. Everything's exaggerated. I caught a fish. It was this big. Oh, yes. But no, One-Eye
Yes,
Willie
we tend to
apparently
exaggerate.
is just a big fish.
I see. And your church is an old structure?
Oh, the Church of Righteous Brew, aye. As old as any around here.
What a name for a church.
I like it.
If you want to know about the church, then you want to go and talk to Priestess Aldersea. Or either Father Swain or Oswald can probably tell you everything.
And it was Oswald who did the last rites on the farm.
No, that would have been Brother Allard.
Three.
Allard. Well, thank you, I guess.
Well, it's interesting. Should you find anything out, be sure to share the information with me.
Of course.
Of course, I've been waiting for something else to happen, but it hasn't happened, so it's been several days since that incident. The Reeve believes it was a single, solitary circumstance.
Might be unrelated, but...
That may be, but if you find anything out, let me know.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
I'll be leaving now.
You can see yourselves out. Alright, the guards all just kind of watch you as you walk out the door. Okay.
Hiding behind Tolgar the whole way.
Emlyn, I'm gonna say that as soon as we get outside this place, away from people.
Yes.
The eye and the brain, that this just reminds me of the rituals and the things we had to acquire in order to do certain things. The baby?
You did something to a baby.
No. Yes. I don't lie. Yes, we did.
What did you do to a baby?
Yes, what did you do to a baby?
Nothing of consequence, but components...
I think anything you do to a baby is of consequence.
Well, not if it's a unremarkable baby.
We fed it, we burped it, and we put it to bed. The end.
Remarkable baby.
The baby was boring me, so I had it put away.
Yes, Tolgar, I love your brutal honesty, but some things just... They're not ready yet. So we'll just...
Not ready.
Well,
The components!
the eye, the
Components.
brain be part
You
of
used the
something.
baby as a component.
No,
It
no,
was an
that's... You're
inconsequential
bridging... You're bridging our statements. It's not... I'm just gonna, hold my book that's underneath my robes a little tighter as I'm floundering.
Alright.
And I'm gonna be like, shall we investigate the stall? The fish stall? Maybe they missed something. It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the market is literally right across the street, so...
Yeah, we'll somersault on over. Cartwheel on over
Just
there.
imagining.
Oh, cartwheel.
Is that entirely necessary?
No. Is it
Rolling in
necessary to drink
circus.
my own urine?
No, but I do because I like it sterile. I like the taste.
Necessary? If you
Uh,
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a dodgeball. Come on, you pansy! Alrighty, yeah, so... as said, I mean, there's tons of people all perusing the 8 or 9 stalls that there is. And yeah, one of them is selling fresh meat, another one vegetables, another one fruit, one that's right here basically is serving mugs of ale and beer right here in the market stall. This one right here is selling basically what looks like bows and arrows and things of a similar nature. This one here has torches, lamps, and all kinds of illumination. This one here is basically reeking of fish, and clearly this is where the body was found. And then there's another stall right above it. that actually has a few what looks like wooden shields, has a few clubs, basic self-defense instruments for the poor and those that cannot afford cold steel.
I'm gonna walk straight to the
What would I get
fish
there for
market.
25 gold?
I hate you guys.
All right, okay,
Sorry.
right.
Not,
I'm gonna walk around the back of it and just look at the fields.
Okay, the person that's manning the stall is kind of watching you as you stroll around behind. Well, what can I get any of you? Fresh trout. We've got rainbow and brown. We got silver salmon. We've got spindle. You want any of that? We've got, we've got lake perch.
Can I have 6 trout, please?
Aye, certainly. What kind of trout would you like? Would you like
Rainbow.
6 rainbow trout? Fair enough. Right, he
Can you
gets them
package
and-
those up into rations?
Excuse me?
Never mind.
Oh, okay. All right. 6 of these. He goes, what sort of size do you want? We've got
Big.
these. You want the big ones or?
Big one.
He says, all right, these two pounders then. Fair enough. All right, that's going to cost you. Let's see, 6. It's 6 is 36. That's 36. That's 3 silver, 6 copper, please.
I'm gonna hand him exactly that amount.
Count it out
No more.
meticulously.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, pleasure to doing business with you. He goes, oh, yes. They'll
Where to next, friends?
they'll do fine on an open grill. Oh, yes. A little bit of
yeah.
fresh sage, maybe some lemon. Delicious.
Thank you.
While that's happening, I'm at the back looking in this direction. Like, is there anything remarkable?
that'd be with trying
Big
to track
open
that, yeah.
plains and open fields as far as the eye can see.
The
Kind
weather
of a-
recently has been mostly dry? Has it rained?
It has been
recently?
pretty dry, yeah.
Alright, so if there are tracks, there might still be tracks, but not near the actual thing. Odds are this thing doesn't do that, but I'd be kind of poking about in the field behind, looking for any kind of sign of.
So you want to
Interesting movements.
search for tracks? Is that what you're looking
Yeah.
for?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, yeah. I mean, bear in mind this was several days ago. So you can go ahead and give me a. Let's see. That would be a perception check.
Okay.
Well, actually, would it? No, it'd be survival.
Yeah.
For
It's
tracking.
gonna take
Sorry.
perception, but that's okay.
All right. There are a lot of heavy boot marks in and around the market stall in general, but based on the amount of traffic that this thing must see in a typical day, it is not at all surprising. There's various different paths in and out of the market, so honestly, it's impossible to tell if anything was specifically responsible for the incident.
So no like weird tracks sticking out.
Nothing that you see that
Okay.
seems particularly strange that stands out, no.
Alright.
No cloven hooves. No huge claw marks.
Kyla,
I was more looking for just Emlyn's face repeatedly imprinted in the ground.
Okay.
Kyla,
Yeah?
why would a farmer up there be found dead in that stall when there's clearly ones closer?
Well, if you're trying to hide a body, it's probably best to hide it where the smell's not going to get to anyone. Problem is, they were saying it wasn't quite hidden all that well.
Which means maybe the guy didn't have a lot of time to cover it up.
And just found the first thing he was looking for, which means he probably came, if the farm is that way, from the farm itself.
I'm gonna enter the stall probably as Tolgar's finished buying it,
Okay.
and I'm gonna look at the tables. Like, are they just 4 legs and a table, or are they?
Yeah,
do they
it's
have fronts and
basically
backs?
a wooden table that the back legs are taller than the front so that it has a slant. It has like a runner nailed along the front and then just boxes laid in place to display the fish. The fish are pretty much just loaded up on salt and that's it. Or ice.
So if there was a body underneath it, it would be pretty obvious, right? Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no cloth that would drape over, or possibly cover it.
No. I mean, that's what Sergeant Randall said. He said it was
That's what he
stuffed
said.
under the table, but it wasn't exactly hidden.
I'm gonna get down on my hands and knees and look under the table,
All right.
kind of in the middle of everybody.
Okay.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch as all of our attempts of being nonchalant are gone.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check. As you're doing this, the stall keeper is like, "What are you doing? Get out from under there!"
No,
Look over here.
I know I dropped something. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna crawl further into the under the desk.
Give me the perception roll. It's grass. I mean, you find a few, you find little spattings of salt. There's some unpleasant stuff dripping from the gaps in the wooden table above, which is fish juice. But,
Ugh.
other than that, nothing untowards down there.
I'm gonna unpocket a gold piece and pluck it and say, "Oh, got it!" And I'm gonna stand back up, holding it up like, "Damn thing fell out of my coin purse." And I'm gonna kind of show it to everybody, like show the gold coin, like show it all around.
See
so
everyone?
sees it.
Completely
Yeah.
innocent.
Gold.
The fact that you have new wool.
And I'm gonna pocket it and look at everybody and kind of shrug and smirk.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, despite knowing that a body was found here, there's no sign of anything that would lead you to give any clues.
Shall we?
Somebody
I'll-
cast Luminol.
Someone got what?
Luminol! Show the blood splatter.
Church.
Or other things you might find under
Well,
there.
what if we
I mean, that's what I use it for.
What if we go north to those 2 trees and then north again to those other trees? Maybe there's something around those
Wait, you're getting too technical.
points of cover,
I guess my concern here is it was likely done completely in haste between point A and point B. Whoever did this had no interest in staying here, otherwise they'd risk being discovered, yeah?
Right, but militia people patrol, don't they? And I'm going to look down at the street. Do I see them out and about walking?
Yeah, but mostly what you're seeing is several militiamen in and around the guardhouse, and you can hear the clashing of steel from behind the guardhouse, where they're obviously training. So you just happen to be in a very guard-populated area right now. Now, that being said, you raise a point. It was right across the freaking guardhouse.
I mean,
What is this building here on the corner?
That
I had it written down, but
right there on the corner as you come in, that is a carpenter's.
okay. Is there any window on the building facing towards?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
So
Love it.
parties involved. If we are to question anyone about any of this, we have the that building over there with the windows. If there were anyone who might have seen, it would be anyone in their attic. Unless there were people at the time it was happening out here just turning a blind eye intentionally. That being said, we have a Mr. Allard at the church there. We have to go ask maybe about what happened to the body, see if it was actually unnatural. If it might have just been a quick, this person has spotted me doing something and I have to do them harm to prevent them from opening their mouth about it kind of deal. Because DeWint might have, maybe, if it is actually DeWint we're after here, I guess the site of the initial crime might have been more likely near the farm in that case, or at this individual's actual place of stay, whatever house that might be. And I'm looking at this big bunch of houses.
Well, it seems to me that it would be an awfully long haul to take the body from the farmhouse down to this stall, unless this stall was used as a meeting point that ended up in the murder.
Or he was running.
Well, that's possible too.
Didn't think of that, Anna.
Well, there are multiple houses along this road that people could be looking out and seeing something. We assume it happened like late at night, right? In the darkness.
And he was found early in the morning, yes.
Why like either of those options? Go to the church, find out about these buildings, or go to the farmhouse. All of them work for me.
Let's start at the church and we can work our way up.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. Okie dokie. So you head down the road and follow the trail that leads you down to the local church, or Church of Righteous Brew.
And then, are you allowed to be here?
All right. Yes. As you walk down, you notice that it doesn't have a fence or anything around it as such, but there are trees and bushes that are all kind of strategically placed to kind of create sort of like a barrier between the church, graveyard, and the rest of the town. It's not that you can't see it, it's just...
separation.
Yeah, it just makes things just seem a little bit more pleasant. All right. As you approach the church, you can see hanging above the door, proud, as if it was a frigging tavern, is a big symbol, which looks kind of like a huge circle with a frothy mug of ale on it. Not the most religious holy symbol that you've ever seen, or the sort of thing that you really expect to see, but as it turns out, that is indeed the symbol of Wenta. All right, let's move you to the church then. And I'll position the church appropriately. And then once I've done that, I'll move you guys in.
Position it to the far right.
Coming in right there. All right. Give me 1 sec.
This is exactly the kind of music I want to hear when I'm drinking my beer.
All right. Okay. So yeah, as you're standing in front of the door that leads into the church, the Church of Righteous Brew.
Well, ladies first, I guess.
You can't just keep using that to make us scout ahead.
You are our guide, our scout, no?
I'm gonna go ahead.
That's what he does. He's using that just to get y'all to do all the dirty work.
I had started to walk, but then I stopped.
They can't move me again, but
Oh
Yeah,
no!
hold on.
I would have just walked in.
Yeah, I fixed that, but not until after I'd already placed icons today. So too bad. It takes
Yeah.
just a second to fix you. Oh,
Okay, there we go.
nope.
Yep.
There.
I'm
Alright.
in.
Okay.
Oh. God.
All right, okay. You step inside the Church of the Righteous Brew. So immediately looking around, yeah, it kind of looks like a church. The huge keg that is next to the altar kind of makes it seem a little strange. You notice that there are about 4 priests. Some of them are wearing white tunics with like brown leather straps that come across their chests. Others have a more brown tan with a green strap across their chest, probably denoting some kind of position within the churchhood. Large wooden pews that are made of oak. And at the very back, there's somebody laying on a pew, taking a nap. And then there's another person that's sitting up at the front, who's just kind of rocking backwards and forwards and would appear to be somewhat inebriated. Okay, at this point, one of the priests comes walking over to you with his hands clasped like this. You notice that hanging from his belt is a mug, an ale mug. He smiles at you as you approach, and he says, "Welcome, welcome to the Church of Righteous Brew." And he's got big rosy cheeks as he says, "I am Brother Godwin. What, pray tell, can we do for you? Are you here to praise Wenta right here on the very eve of her most holiest of days?"
We're here about an eyeball.
An eyeball? Really?
Indeed.
Well, that's a very strange thing for you to come wandering into the church here at Horrendon on the Mere to discuss.
It's a certain eyeball.
I see.
Is
You're
one of you
missing
named
one?
is one of you named Alucard?
Alucard.
Alucard?
His
what-
name was
Oh,
not Alucard.
senior brother Allard, yes.
Allard, that's the one.
What about him?
Can we speak to him, please?
I will see if I can have him fetched.
Thank you.
This is but priest, may I offer you a drink?
In the spirit.
Right, he approaches the keg, and he bows before the man standing at the other side of the keg, wearing the brown tunic and the green sash. And he says, "Father Swain, these travelers have come to praise Wenta's name and partake in the holy brew." And with that, he reaches down, and you notice underneath the stand of the keg there are numerous wooden tankards hanging from pegs. As he takes one and hands it to Tulgar, he says, "Please, feel free to fill your keg and raise it aloft in the name and praise of Wenta. May Wenta ensure your hand be steady, and you nay spill a drop."
Thank you. May winter come.
Ah, yes, winter indeed, when the winter wheat is ripe and ready for harvesting. Oh, it is indeed a magical time.
I'm going to take my mug and sit down over here.
All right.
It's like a bunch of kids expanded their basement.
So basically, yeah, anybody that wants to get a mug of this, basically it's like Trappist ale, feel free to do so.
Sure.
Once you've done that, both all of you that have them, the two monks at the top, they hold their flagons of ale that they have freshly poured into their mugs from the keg, and they're like holding it aloft. "Blessed Wenta, bless this golden amber nectar for the nourishment of your children and the merriment of all. In Wenta's name we swig. Cheers!"
Yeah.
As this is happening, I'm just gonna turn
And they all
look
just
at Lilith.
and pretty much, they amazingly swig the entire thing. It takes them probably a second and a half to do so, but they do not spill a single drop. Which is quite a feat, considering that these tankards are not the most, they're pretty wide-rimmed and prone to spillage.
So as that's happening, I'm gonna turn to Lilith and be like, being the only other one of a religious bias, right? How is this a thing that's legitimate?
This is
don't know.
Brother Allard, yes. Brother Edmund, and he's yelling all the way to the very back of the main cloister. Would you see if Senior Brother Allard is available? He'll be in the kitchen, I'm sure. I believe he is on kitchen duty today. Yes, brother. I will fetch him at once.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna turn and just like, is anyone else getting up to 5?
How is this whole town not just a bunch of alcoholics?
They kind of are.
Well,
They are.
it's true.
With that, a gentleman priest with a brown, similar tunic to the one right in front of you walks over and he says, "It is a pleasure to meet you. I am trusting that you are going to enjoy the merriments of the festival tomorrow."
Indeed.
Should we have the chance, yeah?
Is this where I can sign up for the fight?
The fight? No.
Or-
You see, when alcohol is allowed to lead to violence, this is when it becomes a sin.
What?
In Winter's name, we partake in the brew for enjoyment and merriment, not to intoxicate and become vicious and vile.
In the terms of something that's both vicious and vile, I'm afraid we're here on a bit of business.
Yes, they said something about an eye.
Right. It would seem that Brother Allard was tasked with the embalmment and last rites of an individual who was found in a most morbid of ways. And I and my companions here we're here to, I guess, try and discern the nature of what happened. Oh, is that him?
Yes, Brother Allard, you have visitors. These poor souls are here in the Church of Righteous Brew to partake in our glory, enjoy the festival, and I believe they have questions for you concerning the unfortunate demise of the farmhand a few days ago. He looks at you and he says, I'm Brother Allard. Can I help you at all?
Perhaps not to sully the spirit of the festival as it's coming forward, there would be a better place to speak of these matters.
But you are here in the Church of Righteous Brew.
All not
things
to say
will
leave
be...
the church, but I'd hate to, and then I'm going to gesture to the man in his stupor there, like, ruin whatever he's going through.
He is what we worshippers of the good Mother Winter would refer to as sleeping one off.
Right. Wasted.
Or wasted. Although we rarely think of anybody or any brew as wasted.
Right. So then for the individual whose eye was plucked out of his head and brain was torn out,
Yes, I was the one that conducted the ceremony and the last rites. It was indeed a terrible, terrible murder.
I suppose we're in the interest of just how terrible. Those were the descriptions we were given. Did you notice anything further than that?
I did not. His left eye had been removed, and his brain was missing. There was blood upon his shirt. Other than this, little to nothing.
His family?
His family? Ah, yes, his wife and poor daughter. It was a lovely ceremony. Of course, there was a joyous wake after, as is Winter's custom.
And you didn't think that the brain missing was interesting for further investigation? You are priests, after all, no?
We are priests. We are not the town militia. Our job is not to investigate such things, but purely to make sure that the body is laid to rest and that he is appropriately waked.
Right.
I do believe our good Sergeant Randall and the Reeve, who was here in town at that time, would have took part of the more investigatory type things. We were more dealing with the spiritual nature of his demise.
Right. So you didn't notice any spare lacerations or signs of struggle or any?
I did not. When he was brought to us, he was already cold. They indicate that they believed he was killed the night before. The market stall, of course, doesn't usually close until sundown, so the murder must have happened between sundown and the early wee hours of the morn.
And, where was he buried? I'd like to pay my respects.
Oh, certainly. I can take you to his grave, and you can do so if you wish.
Thank you.
Please.
As this discussion is going on, the door at the bottom opens, and a woman comes wandering through. She is clutching what appears to be a large leather-bound book. Much like most of these individuals, she is a happy, rosy-cheeked woman. You can see little tufts of brown hair poking out from the top of her robes, which are kind of a light brown and creamy color. This is her right there. As you can see, she has a holy book to Winter, and you guessed it, she's carrying a beer stein. Right, as she walks in,
Priestess.
one of the other priests that's over there kind of turns and says, Priestess Emmeline Aldersea, Her Holy Reverence. Your Reverence, may we trouble you for a moment? But of course, she says as she comes over with a huge smile on her face. These strangers from out of town are asking questions, specifically about the demise of the Farnhand a few days ago. Yes. Oh dear, yes. It was a very, very traumatic experience for this town. It took one of the largest wakes that someone of his standing has ever been fit to receive in order to help everybody to get past the situation at hand.
Perhaps there was someone at this gathering who was out of place or not of the town that was just watching, like an outsider.
You have to understand, burial services and ceremonies of winter are often frequented by total strangers. The the libations that happen and the vibrance that is in the air, the free flowing of the amber nectar, as it were, many people often gain more friends upon their parting than they ever had in life.
Plus their
Funeral crashing. Ooh.
Maybe this person would have not been partaking in the amber nectar of goodness.
Maybe not. I know it is difficult to believe, but not everybody here in Horrendon-on-the-Mere partakes of the amber nectar and the golden brew.
Interesting.
Shocking.
dare
Well, we had just asked your fellow priest to show us the grave so we could pay our own respects.
Not at all. Please feel free to continue. If you need anything, or if you wish to receive Wenter's blessing, you only need ask.
Thank you. I'm just gonna spring up and we'll just walk stiffly to the door.
Yeah.
As you walk out, the priest that that welcomed you in, he says, "And remember, Wenter's door is always open, and her tap never runneth dry."
Why do they keep talking about winter like that?
So I'm gonna check the aromas of this beer, get a good smell of it, have a brief sip, let it settle on the back of my palate, really really analyze how holy this beer is.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's a heavy fermentation, and it's not very well filtered. I mean, it has a sediment at the bottom, but
Is it oaky?
It is definitely a little oaky, yeah. And it kicks like hell. I mean, the Heffenriesen was pretty strong, but this is definitely up there and probably stronger.
Nice.
Okay, there's something to it.
I don't know, Tolgar. That whole thing makes no sense to me.
It's not bad.
Okay, so
I'll drink it.
So Brother Allard
Worship her
takes you outside into the church grounds, and approaches what appears to be a fresh dug grave. Okay, it's kind of down here at the back of the graveyard. He says, "This is where his poor soul lies."
So it's like this one.
There is no gravestone there yet.
Oh, okay.
It's just
okay.
a fresh dug grave. They haven't even no one's bothered to hack a piece of rock for this man.
Is
Thank
it
you.
okay if you leave us be to mourn the loss?
As long as you do so respectfully, by all means.
I will respect.
And with that, he goes and sits on a little stone bench that's just to the side of the church.
Yeah, Tolgar, not in the middle of the day.
Oh.
You know.
Okay, let's leave then.
I'm gonna.
Actually,
Oh,
I was gonna approach the. Who's it with us? It's Brother.
Brother Allard, the one that conducted
Brother Allard
the
came with us. Okay,
last rites. Yep.
Yeah, I basically just be approaching him after spending some solemn moment, of course, and just like, if we should like to share our condolences with the family. Do you know which house they stay in?
But of course. Said if you go as far north along the road as you can, take the first right, and count down 8 houses on your left. It is a poor house, but an adequate one. Of course, we do our best to provide his wife or widow and daughter with generous donations to make sure that they want for nothing in this difficult time.
That is very kind virtue of the church.
Well, some people seem to have a strange misconception about the churchhood of Winter. While it is our doctrine that we are jovial and happy, and embrace Winter's gifts, and indeed are described often as less stuffy than some churchhoods, we take our duties as a religious entity nonetheless important. We believe in the sacred rites of burial. We believe in the rites for the Holy Spirit to rest. And of course, we have a civic duty to perform with our flock. It goes far beyond making sure that they have plenty of amber libation to keep them merry and in a good mood.
This is... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep, go ahead. I was just letting that conversation carry. Go ahead. Good.
As that was happening, I would actually just be looking at this tree, because it is quite different color than the other trees around here. Like it's yellowing or redding.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, in our terms, we're talking, it's kind of March right now.
Okay.
So a lot of the trees are just beginning to grow or to gain leaves and stuff like that. So different types of trees bloom differently, different times of year. So there's nothing particularly untowards about it.
Okay. Well, that's it.
Okay.
I mean, we got the houses along the road, or the family itself, I guess. The other thing can wait till dark. What do you guys think?
Yeah, if we're going to be
See
doing...
those circus tents over there.
You want to sign up for a fight, don't you?
Yep, that's where obviously they're preparing everything for tomorrow's festival. The tents are being raised. Everything's being set up.
Nice.
I mean, we are right there if you want to.
I'm tired.
It is about that time, too.
Yeah.
I guess go have some lunch before we continue our investigation.
So you want to go back to the tavern?
Yeah, just...
I think
mean,
all right.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, while things are fresh in your mind, does anybody want to do anything before we wrap it up for this evening?
No.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that's
take
a lot
out
to
that
think of,
trout. Take out that trout and feed it to the mice.
Fit it to the mice?
I don't
All
know.
those beautiful fish.
To the mice. Wait, are you referring to us?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You're going to take your own food into such a nice establishment and eat raw fish. Sushi!
I'm giving it to my friends. Because Junkfire reminded me that Tolgor does not eat fish. In a quote that I remember saying.
Oh, when Liv accused you, when you tried to give you fish, and you were like, what am I, a cat? Or something like that? Yeah.
It was like, what do you think these rainbow trout are for? Certainly not me. I don't eat fish.
Alright, okay. Well, in that case then, if you guys have nothing else that you want to do while it's fresh on your mind, we'll dump you all at a table.
Yeah.
And we
too
will
much to
wrap
think
it
over.
up there for this evening. Hi there, I'm Gorbad. Welcome to the Orc's Nest. I'm the Dungeon Master here on How We Roll, and if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so on Twitter @Gorbad. Check out thedmblog.com for all things Dungeon Master and Dungeons and Dragons related. And of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/Gorbad. Also, guys, don't forget to keep up with all things How We Roll. Follow us on Twitter @HowWeRoll. Check out the website www.howweroll.com, and make sure you follow us on YouTube as well. Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, Dragon Spooker here for How We Roll. Thank you so much for watching tonight. For something a little different, please check out my channel, twitch.tv/thedragonspooker. For stream times, follow me on Twitter via @DragonSpooker. See you next time.
Hi, I'm the Satchmo. I speak for the trees. Thank you for watching How We Roll. If you want to see some more of me, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Satchmo. If not, I guess I'll just see you next episode. I love you. Take care.
What's up, you guys? It's the Snuggler here, and I am back for my second How We Roll campaign. I've been given some guidelines. One is to not name the character that I'm playing. Score's probably gonna kill my character at some point. And two is to keep this as short as possible.
Jane is just so lazy. Oh.
So with that being said, so happy to be on my second campaign for How We Roll. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at MattySweetTweets. And that's pretty much all I use. So check you there. If not, I'm always here playing for you guys.
Shagget here. I play a character on How We Roll. I'm not going to tell you who I play because if they die, I'm going to have to redo it. I've already done it once, never again. Follow me on Twitter at aneb_convos, and I'll see you guys on How We Roll.
Hi, Jane here. You may have seen me in such films as Rise of the Fallen or Lyra vs. Legend. Thanks for watching! You can follow me on Twitter at Jane on Twitch. That's with a 0, not no. Anyway, I gotta go. The cats. Peace, suckers!